Today I'm going to take you to a website called Showdoor, and its subtitle says a national resource for computational science education. So this allows us a little bit of a crossover for me as a math teacher. And the website is showdoor.org up there at the top. So for my ISTE, I am looking at 6A, foster a culture where students take ownership of their learning goals and outcomes in both independent and group settings, because the activities we'll be working with are more, and they can work together or independently. If they work together, though, they do have to share a screen. And candidates design, facilitate, and implement interdisciplinary units of student study. So this is definitely crossover information for science and math. All right, showdoor.org brings up this computer or this page about lots of different information. There is an app for Math Flyer, but what I want to show you today is in the activities and lessons. So you can see there's lots of activities going on in here, but we want interactive. When you get here for the students, they're going to go to activities. And this can be a bit overwhelming. So this little cross-section flyer guy is one of my favorite because it's really hard to show students what cross-sections really look like if you don't have something to cut open. So one of the ways I kind of get around of having them search is I copy the link to whichever activity I want into an announcement or assignment on my Google Classroom, and so then the kids just have to click on the link and it takes them straight to the activity. So here you can see a double cone, which we don't do in 7th grade. We're more likely to do a cylinder or a pyramid. So I'm going to click on pyramid here. And you can see there's options, red, blue, green. You know, the kids will probably play with that a little bit. But right now, what you see is a cross section. If it were chopped off at that angle, this is the shape that the students would see. And they can click here, and it tells them what it is. It's a hexagon, 6-sided figure. So they can move, rotate the slice around the y-axis, so that moves this way back and forth. So they can make it flat, and they can see clearly that you have a 5-sided figure now, which they can click on. It's a regular pentagon. And then if you rotate it around Z, it just spins it, which doesn't really work on here. Here we go. Z spins it around. So you can show how you can get a trapezoid by slicing it this way. It says quadrilateral, but we can even make them be more specific and say they've gotten a trapezoid. You can move the slice up and down. So here you can see that cutting it there would get a weird shape. And you can change the number of faces. So like for my students, we tend to deal with triangular pyramids. So they could take it down and see, okay, if I cut off the top, okay, but what happens if I cut off the side? Oh, look, I still get another triangle. So you can show them how to get 4 sides, how you might end up with a quadrilateral if you cut here. So it's a very fun activity. Going back to the site itself, and lots of activities. You can sort by subject here, or you can sort by audience, which is grade level. The grade level is somewhat accurate. I'm not sure where it comes from, but for me it was easier to sort by subject. So like numbers and operations, I found that there was some interesting arithmetic stuff, some graphing, fractions. One of the things I like are these little quizzes they have in here. I found an order of operations quiz, and it's a good way for them to practice mental math because you can have them set a time limit. So, you know, you can start out with a little timer, maybe whole numbers only, or level 1 is basically whole numbers only adding, subtracting, and they just start their game. They click ready and they have 20 seconds to answer the question. So they have to know their order of operations, and in this case, they would have to know negative numbers. And it tells them whether or not they got it correct. They can see a score if they'd like. So if I wanted them to just have positive answers, because my students haven't had them, I would obviously change. I could hit new game and change it to whole numbers only. And that would give them just positive answers, which they could type in. And if they get it wrong, it gives them the answer of what they should have gotten. So that gives them the opportunity then, if they aren't sure why they should have gotten that answer, they can talk to me or their neighbor. And they can play this, and when they're ready to move on, they can change the options. So I really enjoy this website. It also has Learner tab, which means it would talk them through. They can show them, see exactly what order of operations is. It has a help on how to run the game. And, if they really want to, I guess they can check the instructor information that says what the standard is and what's happening. So though this website can look a little overwhelming at first, it really has some great fun information and useful pieces of data.